代替这棵树，我喜欢你。
Duo tried on her wedding dress and admired her reflection in the mirror. She smiled as the worker commented that it would be better if her husband was present. She calmly explained the situation to her husband without realizing he was asleep in a hotel with his mistress, Li Wei. Li Wei noticed Qin Lang's phone and saw a selfie of Duo. She snapped a photo of Qin Lang sleeping with lipstick on his face and sent it to Duo along with the hotel location. Enraged, Duo rushed to the hotel. Clothes were scattered on the floor when she arrived. She struck Li Wei in anger. Qin Lang stepped in to protect Li Wei. Duo slapped him, while Li Wei acted pitiful. Qin Lang sided with Li Wei and accused Duo of being unreasonable. Furious, Duo removed her diamond ring and threw it aside. She tossed all their clothes down the stairs. Qin Lang and Li Wei left the hotel embarrassed and wrapped in towels as Duo took photos of them. The photos said everything. This was only the beginning of her payback. This is Don't Mess with Ex-Girlfriend. Later, Duo discovered the wedding venue booking was still active. The ceremony would continue, but the bride had been switched to Li Wei. Her best friend Cheng Zi supported her plan for revenge on the wedding day. Duo arrived at the wedding wearing a white dress. Mrs. Qin, pleased with Li Wei and believing she was a better match, expected the event to proceed smoothly. She wanted Qin Lang to impress his brother Chinchi, the head of the Qi family. The ceremony began. Li Wei's father escorted her down the aisle toward Qin Lang, who smiled as he waited for his bride. At that moment, Duo entered the venue in her own wedding gown. Mrs. Qin reacted angrily and tried to remove her. Duo scattered photos of Qin Lang and Li Wei at the hotel and announced she no longer wanted Qin Lang. She declared she had found a better husband. Right then, Chinchi walked in. Duo pulled him aside and whispered for him to play along. To her surprise, Chinchi agreed. Guests murmured in shock as Qin Lang froze on stage. Earlier, Cheng Zi had called Duo to say she had arranged for someone to pose as Duo's new husband. When Chinchi appeared, Duo assumed he was the stand-in, handed him money, and asked him to act the part, unaware of his true identity. Chinchi knew about the mistake yet played along, declaring to everyone that he was her husband. Duo accepted it and suggested they marry on the spot, since the audience no longer cared. Chinchi surprised her by declaring his true feelings and telling Qin Lang to step aside. He wanted to marry Duo himself. With no ring ready, he calmly took the ring meant for Qin Lang. Duo gave Li Wei a cold smile as the guests applauded the unexpected union. Duo soon sensed something was off and asked who Chinchi was. He quietly reminded her to continue the act. When the officiant called for a kiss, she closed her eyes nervously. Chinchi noticed her tension and kissed her forehead. Their ceremony ended first. Only then did Qin Lang proceed with Li Wei, using a bracelet as a makeshift ring. Li Wei fumed while guests lined up to congratulate Chinchi. He answered them with confidence. Duo realized her mistake and apologized, but Chinchi showed no concern. Qin Lang offered forced congratulations and called her Duo. A hard glare from Chinchi silenced him. He never asked for the ring back. Duo left the hall quickly. Chinchi stayed calm and watched the night sky, smiling at the sight of a crescent moon tattoo that held meaning for him. Outside, the man Duo had actually hired arrived and asked for the wedding location. Chinchi sent him away. Mrs. Qin grew suspicious. She had people follow them and learned that Chinchi did not go home with Duo. She then guessed the marriage was only for show. The next morning Duo went to work and found her position listed under Li Wei's name. She confronted Li Wei, who claimed Duo was now her assistant and that everything belonged to her. Li Wei dropped a pen to force Duo to pick it up. Duo refused and threw the papers on the table in anger. Li Wei mocked her and Chinchi's marriage, but Duo stayed composed despite feeling cornered. Soon after, Qin Lang visited Li Wei. She staged a scene and claimed Duo had attacked her. Qin Lang demanded an apology, but Duo reminded him of their 7 years together and accused him of forgetting everything. He dismissed her words, seeing her past strengths as flaws. Duo stayed calm and played a recording of Li Wei mocking her. Qin Lang refused to believe it. Li Wei accused Duo of setting her up, and Qin Lang took her side. Duo remained silent, disgusted by how perfectly they matched. She later told Cheng Zi what happened. Cheng Zi suggested asking Chinchi for help, but Duo refused. They had only met once, and she preferred to handle matters herself. Duo filed a plagiarism complaint against Li Wei and prepared to leave the company. Mrs. Qin and Li Wei blocked her path. The complaint reached Mrs. Qin, who warned her to stay away from Qin Lang and offered 2 million yuan as a payoff. Duo accepted the card but said the amount was too small. She hinted that she might post the photos of Qin Lang and Li Wei if Li Wei did not admit to stealing her design draft. Mrs. Qin, furious, raised a teacup to throw, but Nduo caught her hand and splashed water across her face. At that moment Qinchi arrived after hearing from his secretary Zhang that his wife had been detained. Seeing his mother's wet face, he demanded public apologies to Nduo. He threatened to expel them from the Qin family if they refused. Li Wei had no choice. She poured water over her own head in front of everyone. Qinchi warned them to stop harassing Nduo and handed her his business card, promising support and future opportunities. He stepped closer, but Nduo pulled back and ran out. The next day, Nduo's landlord abruptly told her to move out. She discovered that Li Wei had purchased the property. Furious, she called Qin Lang to confront him. He believed Li Wei's story that she was the victim and accused Nduo of causing trouble to win him back. Nduo steadied herself and decided to retaliate. The following day Qin Lang brought Li Wei to the company. Li Wei acted weak and childlike, and Qin Lang shielded her. When they reached the office, they found that Nduo had cleared Li Wei's desk and organized the documents. Qin Lang misread the gesture as an apology. He placed their hands together as a sign of peace. As soon as he left, Nduo struck Li Wei. Li Wei ran out crying. This time Nduo turned the tables. She claimed Li Wei had attacked her first and used lipstick to fake an injury. Qin Lang began to doubt Li Wei. When Qinchi heard that Nduo had been hurt, he rushed over, shouted at everyone, and left with her under his protection. Later, back at Qin's office, Nduo wiped away the lipstick and resolved to handle her problems on her own, hoping Qinchi would stay out of it. Qinchi warned her that the plagiarism complaint against Li Wei would not succeed. They reached an agreement. He would help her resolve the design dispute, and she would continue as his wife in name only. During a company meeting, Nduo used her detailed knowledge of the design draft to expose Li Wei in front of everyone. Qin Lang stayed silent, and Nduo regained her position. Later Qinchi brought Nduo to meet his mother. Qin Lang and Li Wei were also present. While the brothers talked, Li Wei tried to push Nduo into the water. Nduo stepped aside, and the gift in Li Wei's hand fell into the pool. Nduo grabbed her to stop her from falling further. Li Wei claimed the gift was for Mrs. Qin, the family matriarch and owner of the house. She warned that Mrs. Qin disliked women who failed to meet her standards and hinted that Nduo could be thrown out. Then she accused Nduo of tossing the gift on purpose and called her immoral. Nduo chose to face Mrs. Qin directly and remained calm. Mrs. Qin noticed the crescent moon mark behind Nduo's ear and immediately recognized her as the woman Qinchi had been searching for over the years. She laughed and publicly accepted Nduo as her daughter-in-law. She ordered Li Wei and Qin Lang to kneel, serve tea, and apologize. Mrs. Qin explained that anyone loved by Qinchi would always have her approval. She promised to protect Nduo and give her respect. Li Wei was punished for lying and stirring conflict. Mrs. Qin even told her secretary to enroll her in a class to prepare for caring for a future grandchild. The day's events boosted Nduo's confidence. Qinchi then proposed that she continue pretending to be his wife, but she refused. Soon Nduo searched for a new home. She found a rental listing for a large house with a swimming pool at a low monthly rate of 1,000 yuan. Delighted, she signed the lease without reading the details, unaware that Qinchi owned the property and had arranged the price. After moving in, she relaxed by the pool. Qinchi suddenly surfaced from the water and greeted her with a grin. Startled, Nduo scolded him, but he calmly stated that he was the owner and had every right to be there. Later, while reviewing the contract, Nduo realized Qinchi had tricked her. Before she could protest, he revealed a wall filled with photos of jewelry she had designed, leaving her little choice but to stay. That night Qinchi watched her sleep. Childhood photos of Nduo lay on the table. He focused on the crescent-shaped birthmark behind her ear and remembered her childhood words about its glow giving him courage. Soon after, Qin Lang approached Nduo to apologize. He admitted that Li Wei had deceived him and asked for forgiveness. He even offered her an apartment, which she firmly declined. Qinchi witnessed the exchange and felt a surge of anger. Back home, Qinchi handed Nduo a set of keys to properties across the country. She refused them all. He stayed awake through the night, replaying Qin Lang's proposal in his mind. Restless, he made a late phone call and began to plan. The next day Nduo arrived at work and learned that the company had a new leader. Moments later Qinchi walked in, his presence instantly cooling the room. He promoted her to designer despite her short tenure and announced a dinner to celebrate. During the barbecue gathering, Nduo quietly asked him to keep their private connection hidden. Instead, Qinchi deliberately hinted at their relationship. To defuse attention, She quickly pushed a piece of barbecue into his mouth. The party grew awkward when manager Wang tried to show off his drinking skills and ended up spitting out his drink. Meanwhile, some colleagues gossiped that Nduo had tried to seduce Qin Lang and was now targeting Chinchi for his wealth. Angered, she stood to defend herself. Chinchi overheard and stepped forward, wrapping an arm around her and stating that he was the one pursuing her. She refused to engage and left the table. Realizing their mistake, the two women who had spread the rumor apologized. Chinchi demanded their resignations and ordered Li Wei transferred to a remote branch. Li Wei begged Qin Lang to intervene, but he blamed her for constantly scheming against Nduo and regretted marrying her. Determined to retaliate, Li Wei slipped into the office and stole Nduo's design drafts. The next morning Nduo arrived at work and learned that the necklace she had designed was already on sale. Chinchi placed the first piece around her neck, a design he had prepared for her, but she felt uneasy about breaking company rules. Before she could react further, manager Wang reported a problem. A rival company had released a necklace identical to hers, and online criticism against her was spreading quickly. Chinchi wanted to remove the negative posts, but Nduo stopped him. She insisted the design was her own and chose to find proof instead. Chinchi decided to accompany her. They traveled to her hometown where she had drawn the original sketch 10 years earlier. At that time she had won first prize for a small red flower painting that appeared in the local newspaper and was archived online. She believed locating the sketch would confirm her authorship. The design came from a tree near her childhood home. After her parents left, she grew up with her grandmother, and after her grandmother's death the tree remained her only constant. When she searched the house, the album holding the sketch was missing. Nduo then remembered her childhood friend and took Chinchi to visit him. The friend greeted her warmly and teased her, saying he would only give back the sketch if she agreed to be his girlfriend. Chinchi stepped in, drinking heavily in her place and announcing that she was his wife.
安朵朵是我老婆。
The friend laughed and revealed he was already married with a child. An elderly neighbor praised Chinchi for his devotion. Nduo led him to the old tree that had inspired her work and described how she used to draw it every day. The tree still stood, a living record of her idea. Moved by her story, Chinchi embraced her and said he wished to care for her as the tree once had. When she hesitated, he kissed her. Later Nduo brought him back to her house. After placing him on the bed, she brushed her hand against his lips. He woke suddenly, claiming he was drunk, while secretly watching her gentle expression and smiling. That night Chinchi rose quietly and saw Nduo asleep on the sofa. He walked to a wall covered with her awards and remembered a letter she had once sent from abroad, promising to work hard and repay whoever had supported her. He realized she never knew that he was the one who had sponsored her education and quietly followed her progress, loving her since the first time he met her. At the press conference the next day, the rival company's chairman's nephew disguised himself as a reporter and asked leading questions to damage Nduo's reputation. He accused her of plagiarism and noted that the link to her old online award had mysteriously disappeared. Public suspicion grew quickly, and many believed she was guilty. Chinchi stepped forward to defend her. The reporter countered by claiming that Nduo relied on a personal relationship with Chinchi to gain her designer position. Prepared for this, Chinchi announced that Nduo was his wife and produced a 10-year-old newspaper showing her winning design. He explained that hackers might have attacked the website, but no one could erase every printed record. Chinchi then revealed the reporter's true identity. Exposed, the man left in embarrassment. With the evidence clear, all accusations against Nduo were dismissed. She left the venue quickly, eager to avoid more attention. News of the event spread fast. Chengzi saw the reports and confronted Nduo for hiding her connection with Chinchi. Nduo explained that their marriage was only contractual. After hearing the full story, Chengzi suspected that Chinchi's feelings were real and asked if Nduo felt the same. Nduo denied it, but when a message from Chinchi arrived inviting her to meet, she smiled despite herself. Chengzi teased her for enjoying his attention. Meanwhile, Qin Lang discovered messages on Li Wei's phone that linked her to the rival company. Realizing she had orchestrated the plagiarism scheme, he confronted her in anger. Their argument escalated, and he regretted his blind trust and his failure to stand by Nduo. He decided to divorce Li Wei, who turned her bitterness toward Nduo. At the same time Chinchi followed advice from his secretary Zhang and prepared a proposal with flowers and a ring, determined to marry Nduo openly. As Nduo dressed to meet Chinchi, she received a call from Qin Lang. He asked to speak with her and apologized for doubting her and for Li Wei's theft of her designs. Nduo declined to meet him and continued on her way. She pulled her car to the roadside to answer another message and planned to reach Chinchi quickly. Without warning, a truck sped toward her. Qin Lang appeared and shoved her out of danger, taking the full impact. He was seriously injured and collapsed, and Nduo immediately called for an ambulance. Later, when Mrs. Qin learned of Qin Lang's condition, she immediately blamed Nduo. On the drive home with Chinchi, Nduo replayed the incident and grew convinced it was no accident. Li Wei fueled her suspicion. She claimed that Nduo had planned to harm Qin Lang and pointed out that his last phone call had been to Nduo. Mrs. Qin believed her without question. In reality, Li Wei had set up the attack. Her original plan was to kill Nduo, but Qin Lang had unexpectedly appeared and taken a hit, giving her an opportunity to shift blame. To protect Nduo, Chinchi hired 4 bodyguards. He knew that the day before the crash she had nearly been struck by a car and only survived because Qin Lang pushed her away. If not for him, she would have been the one in the hospital. Chinchi ordered an investigation. His assistant reported that the accident site had a disabled surveillance system and the truck had been parked in a fixed spot. The lack of evidence convinced Chinchi that someone was targeting his wife. Soon after, Mrs. Qin called Nduo claiming that Qin Lang had regained consciousness. When Nduo arrived at the hospital, she discovered he was still unconscious. Mrs. Qin accused her again, convinced she had arranged the attack. Nduo sensed a deeper plot and stayed alert. Mrs. Qin then revealed her true intent. She tried to kill Nduo. At that moment Chinchi's assistant entered and announced that the driver had been caught and had falsely claimed Nduo had hired him. Enraged, Mrs. Qin grabbed a fruit knife and lunged. Chinchi shielded Nduo and was injured in the process. The commotion woke Qin Lang. Amid the chaos, police arrived and, misled by the driver's statement, took Nduo to the station for questioning. Li Wei watched from a hidden corner, delighted by the arrest. Her arrogance betrayed her. She bragged about orchestrating the scheme and described her plan in detail, unaware that police officers overheard everything. With her confession recorded, officers detained her, and Qin Lang, now fully conscious, confirmed the truth. Chinchi and Nduo left together as Li Wei was taken away. The scheme had finally collapsed. Later, as Nduo quietly bandaged Chinchi's wounds, he resolved to treat her with care after all they had endured. Rumors soon spread that she had advanced in the company through connections. The mood shifted when management publicly praised her. They highlighted her skill and her generous spirit, repeating their admiration for her character. The head of HR, known as the Fierce Tiger, surprised everyone by warmly shaking her hand and patting her shoulder. Colleagues treated her like royalty. Her promotion from regular designer to top designer followed quickly, attributed to her talent and to her marriage to the company director. Chinchi decided it was time to win her heart. Sensing her hesitation, he proposed a simple plan. They would go on 3 dates. If she felt nothing after the 3rd, he would let her go. Nduo found the idea fair and agreed. Meanwhile, Qin Lang handed Li Wei divorce papers. No display of tears or pleading changed his mind. Even his mother confronted Li Wei and struck her in anger. Li Wei refused to accept the divorce and responded with an unreasonable demand. Before the first date, Chinchi asked Nduo for a promise of openness. He then asked his secretary to reserve a French restaurant and arrange a surprise. When the evening arrived, Nduo joined him at the elegant venue. The menu, written in dense French, left her unsure of what to order. Chinchi noticed her confusion, took the menu, and chose the dishes for both of them. A violinist entered to set the mood, but Nduo remained uncomfortable. Hoping to please her, Chinchi replaced the music with a magic act and then dancing. She covered her face, overwhelmed and embarrassed. The evening seemed lost, and Chinchi grew quiet. He held her hand and spoke honestly, saying he could not force love but would continue to earn it. Moved by his sincerity, Nduo rested her hand gently on his in acknowledgement. The next morning, Nduo learned from her manager that the design plagiarism lawsuit was still unresolved. As a result, she was removed from the jewelry competition. Soon after, Qin Lang arrived at her office in a wheelchair. He had taken Li Wei's design book and returned it to help her defend herself in the case. He quietly said he would always be there if Chinchi ever hurt her. Nduo thanked him but asked him to leave. He folded the wheelchair and left without protest. Later, Chinchi called Nduo to his office and invited her to accompany him somewhere. Despite her hesitation, she agreed after seeing his earnest expression. He brought her to a charity auction. While he met briefly with the organizer, Nduo browsed the jewelry displays alone. A rival executive's wife approached and mocked her, hinting that Chinchi once loved another woman and had planned to marry her. Nduo dismissed the remark and told the woman to mind her own business. Seeing the woman turn pale, she chose not to continue the argument. When the auction began, Chinchi returned and took a seat in the front row with Nduo. The same woman sat behind them, watching closely. Bidding opened at millions of yuan, surprising Nduo. The woman whispered that she looked like a country bumpkin, but Chinchi's sharp glance silenced her. The final item stunned Nduo. It was a pair of earrings she had designed, donated by Chinchi. The starting bid was 5,000 yuan. As the price climbed past 100,000, Chinchi calmly raised his paddle and offered 10 million. The room fell silent in shock. When the auction ended, he was invited to the stage. He explained that the earrings represented his wife's dedication and talent, and that the 10 million yuan would support children in poor rural areas so they could pursue their dreams as Nduo had. His words drew loud applause. Chinchi then returned to her side and placed the earrings on her ears himself. The gesture and his public tribute deepened their bond and left Nduo moved and grateful. When they left the venue, she held his hand and quietly mentioned that he had not warned her about the plan. He assured her that the money would go to charity and spoke gently until her worry eased. The mood grew warm as they walked. Chinchi brushed her cheek and she noticed a crescent moon tattoo on his palm. He said it honored someone important from his past. That evening Nduo thought about the tattoo and suspected it linked to an old friend. At home she found a gift from Chinchi, a dress and a card inviting her to a third date at a hotel. On the planned night Chinchi rehearsed what he would say. His secretary Zhang had arranged everything for a proposal. But when the hotel door opened, a woman in a blue dress entered. Chinchi froze. It was Chinchi, an old flame. She clung to him and declared that they should never be apart. Nduo arrived moments later and saw them together. Before Chinchi could speak, Chinchi claimed that Nduo was only a substitute after she left for abroad. She even showed a matching crescent moon tattoo. As Chinchi tried to explain, Chinchi grabbed a knife in a sudden outburst. He stepped in to stop her as she clung to him. Nduo turned and left the hotel without a word. Chinchi chased her but could not find her. He searched frantically while she packed her belongings and left home. Sitting in a taxi, she told Chengzi that loving Chinchi again would make her a fool. Then a call came from Zhang. Chinchi had been in a car accident and was hospitalized. She rushed to the hospital and found doctors surrounding him. The secretary explained that he had neither eaten nor slept while searching for her and had collapsed on the way home, falling into a coma. When the others stepped out, Nduo remained alone at his bedside. She sat quietly, wishing he would wake, her heart heavy. No promise or whispered plea stirred him, and in frustration she muttered that she would find someone else if he stayed asleep. A sudden movement broke the silence. Chinchi reached out and clasped her hand. Startled, she felt a mix of anger and relief. At least he was responsive, and she could finally relax. By dusk Zhang arrived and took Nduo home to cook porridge. When he returned to the hospital he found Chinchi awake and teasingly praised his dramatic tactics. Their conversation turned to Chinchi. Zhang admitted he had told her that Chinchi was away on business, so she would not disturb him. Chinchi sighed, aware of the kindness Chinchi's parents had once shown his family, but puzzled at how she had learned about his connection with Nduo. As evening settled, Zhang noticed the time and guided Chinchi back to his room before Nduo returned. Moments later she entered carrying a bowl of porridge. Chinchi's hands were bandaged and he could not feed himself. When he opened his mouth expectantly, she hesitated, then told him to ask his supposed lover instead. Chinchi quickly explained that nothing had ever happened with Chinchi, yet Nduo remained upset and said she wanted to end their relationship. Unable to let her go, Chinchi pulled her into an embrace. She immediately sensed that his injured arm moved too easily and realized he had exaggerated his condition. Embarrassed, she stepped out of the room without looking back. Chinchi followed but soon lost sight of her. Then the hospital lights went out, plunging the building into darkness. A storm raged outside as fear gripped him. His long-hidden weakness, a deep fear of the dark, left him shaking. He tried to steady himself against a doorframe, slipped, and struck his head on a medical cart. A heavy bottle tipped toward him, but Nduo rushed back in time to catch it. Seeing his tears, she remembered her own childhood fears in a dim hospital ward. She comforted him and showed the red crescent birthmark on her hand, the same mark he had once relied on for courage, promising that its glow would guide him through any darkness. Relieved, Chinchi finally let his emotions surface and held her tightly, no longer afraid. The next morning Li Wei sat in the back of a luxury car with Chinchi. Chinchi complained about Chinchi's cold attitude, confused by his distance. Li Wei handed her a photo of Chinchi in the hospital and claimed that Nduo was behind everything. Together they began plotting a new plan. Meanwhile Nduo spent time each day with Chinchi as he recovered. He worried about an upcoming trip abroad. To comfort him, she drew a small crescent moon on his hand to match the birthmark behind her own ear. He was deeply touched and promised to repay her kindness one day. After they parted, Chinchi never erased the mark. Over time he added to it until he finally turned it into a tattoo. Chinchi, convinced that Chinchi loved her, copied the design in an effort to believe she was special to him. The misunderstanding eventually ended. Duo realized Chinne had always been a stand-in, and Chinchi held her hand firmly, telling her no one could replace her. Years earlier, when Duo started university, Chinchi rushed back to see her with a bouquet of flowers. At the gate he spotted her leaving with Qin Lang and quietly walked away, hiding his tears. Later he learned that Qin Lang was engaged but chose not to attend the wedding. Only when his secretary revealed that the bride had changed did he decide to visit the ceremony, still keeping his feelings to himself. Duo never asked about the past. She simply reminded Chinchi of the promise he had made in the hospital, and their relationship grew closer. They were about to share a first kiss when the secretary burst in with urgent news. A photo of Chinchi hugging Chinne had appeared in the media and damaged the Qin group's reputation. Mrs. Qin warned that if the scandal was not resolved in 3 days, the family leadership would change. Reporters soon surrounded Duo at the company entrance. Chinchi arrived and escorted her through the crowd. He told the press that he had lied about his private life, admitted he had taken advantage of Duo, and announced his resignation as chairman. After leaving the company together, they faced onlookers eager for proof of their relationship. Cameras flashed as they returned home. Inside the house they found Chinne waiting. She tried to corner Chinchi, but he stood firm. Holding Duo's hand, he declared that marriage was neither a game nor a transaction and that he would only marry the woman he loved, naming Duo. Even if it cost him everything, he would stay with her. Chinne, desperate to reclaim his affection, showed her own crescent moon tattoo. Chinchi refused to be moved and urged her to stop deceiving herself. Overcome, she broke down in tears. He called for a bodyguard to contact her doctor, but Duo stepped forward and embraced Chinne while ordering the guards to find Li Wei. The next day Qin Lang and his mother arrived at the Qin family's main hall for the leadership vote. The 3-day deadline had passed and a new head was about to be chosen. From behind the screen Li Wei appeared, surprising Mrs. Qin, who asked why she was there. Moments later Chinchi entered with Duo and their supporters. Li Wei, now aware of the full truth after speaking with Chinne, handed Chinchi a thick folder. Inside was proof that Mrs. Qin and Li Wei had conspired with outsiders. Although Li Wei confessed, bitterness remained. She felt she had sacrificed everything and gained nothing. Chinchi instructed his secretary to contact the police and watched as bodyguards escorted his mother away. Qin Lang pleaded for leniency, but Chinchi told him to choose his own path and accept the consequences. After the hall emptied, Chinchi thanked Duo for helping uncover the scheme. He admitted that their plan to expose Mrs. Qin had worked exactly as intended. Later, with the conflict behind them, Chinchi teased Duo about how he should reward her, and they shared a quiet kiss. Soon after, they attended the design competition's award ceremony. Together they waited as the host announced the winners. Applause filled the room when Duo's name was called. She stepped on stage and described the inspiration for her work: the darkness, a lonely boy's fear, and the love story of a girl marked by the moon. Holding the jewelry box high, she honored the promise Chinchi had once made to her. Chinchi joined her on stage. In front of the cheering audience they exchanged rings and sealed their future with a final kiss, bringing their story to a close. So the moral of the story is never underestimate a determined woman in a wedding dress, because she can outsmart cheaters, survive sabotage, and still win the design trophy and the guy who truly loves her.